Now this other tight end, I am a little skeptical because it's Detroit and they've had some major changes. And the major change is Ben Johnson. And I'm not quite sure with Sam LaPorta as the tight end 4 if that feels right. So I need to hear both sides of this. Please make a case for Mr. LaPorta.
All right. Sam LaPorta had a not so great sophomore season last year in 2024, right, Laquan? It was kind of disappointing. Can we agree?
Yeah.
Okay. He had just 83 targets. He had just 60 catches. He still finished as the tight end 7 in half PPR, despite the drop in volume. Meanwhile, he still scored a gazillion touchdowns. He scored 17 through his first 2 seasons. That's the most ever by a tight end, behind only one guy, Rob Gronkowski, whose record probably will never be broken. The thing really for me with Sam LaPorta is this is less about Sam LaPorta and more about the other guys. Okay? Because I understand the Ben Johnson thing isn't great. Things might take a slight step back for this offense and for Sam LaPorta. But what else are you going to do? Are you going to draft TJ Hawkinson, who can't ever stay healthy? Are you going to draft Travis Kelce, who just got booted to the streets by the judge, who's 49 years old? No. Are you going to draft Jonnu Smith, who's a one-year wonder, who popped up out of nowhere to flash because the rest of the pass-catching core was weird and the quarterback situation was weird and somehow things just fell his way, but they're probably never going to fall that way again? Are you going to draft Mark Andrews, who managed to touchdown his way into tight end 6 last year, but was still otherwise non-existent and barely finished ahead of LaPorta, even with all those wacky touchdowns? I'm not super excited about any of those guys. So at tight end 4, LaPorta is much safer than all of them, and he still has the tight end 1 overall upside if he gets those targets and catches, which with the way the offense changes, if this team needs to throw more, might be the case. So I'm in on Sam LaPorta. Sign me up.
I'm curious to hear this other side, man. Where is he at? Oh, there he is.
No, I'm not. No. We're not in on Sam LaPorta. What are you talking about, Laquan? Listen, he was great as a rookie, this LaPorta fellow, because he saw 120 targets. And he saw 120 targets because Jameson Williams did diddly bupkis, and it was just Amon-Ra St. Brown in this offense. Last year, Williams saw 91 targets. And what happened? Sam LaPorta fell off. He stopped seeing the targets and the catches. Now, Jameson Williams is getting all that camp hype. The coaching staff is very excited about him heading into year 3. I think he's going to take another step forward. Now he's going to see 100-plus targets. What happens to Sam LaPorta's volume with that? And then you set it up in the beginning. Mr. Defender tried to brush over it. The loss of Ben Johnson, who we all credited with Sam LaPorta's success and the success of this offense as a whole, and we're super excited about him going to Chicago, we have to be equally as unexcited about him leaving Detroit, but I feel like we're not. It is a huge, huge loss for Ben Johnson to head over to not just another team, but their rival. This offense is going to suffer. And let's not forget, by the way, they lost 2 superb interior offensive linemen. So this whole offense is going to suffer. Jared Goff is going to suffer. The run game is going to suffer. They're not going to be in the red zone as much, which means Sam LaPorta is not going to score as many touchdowns. He'll still be fine. I think he'll be somewhere in that mess of the second-tier tight ends that basically stretches from like tight end 4 to tight end 12. But why not draft the guy who's at tight end 10 or 11 or 12 in ADP instead of the guy who's at tight end 4? I'm going to save multiple rounds and not get this guy in the mess of a tier. Get Sam LaPorta out of my face.
Oh, man. It sounds like Prosecutor Okada is sending him to the fantasy streets. But there's a lot to iron out with Sam LaPorta, man, because, one, the drop-off, it was significant when Jameson Williams finally came on board because Ben Johnson was able to unlock that potential we knew he had. Ben Johnson ain't there right now. I don't know if Johnny Morton is going to be able to have that same flair on that offense as Ben Johnson had deploying these plays for a guy like Jameson Williams, designing these things up for him and knowing when to do it. So that's like something that's not being really looked at a ton. But Sam LaPorta, he gives me the comfortability of like the red zone presence, his operation in and out of that offense, it feels like he's always going to be a staple in that offense to have that opportunity. So it's not like a guy that you're going to have to worry about with injuries. It's not like it's a guy you have to worry about sharing that 12 personnel with another tight end. This is the guy. This is their tight end. Jared Goff, he had that connection with Tyler Higbee back when he was with the Rams, and I understand that he needs that security blanket at times. And I think Sam LaPorta is a very upgraded, a very elevated security blanket, I will say. The dude is very talented. He could be in that conversation to talk top 5 tight ends. And the prosecutor made a strong point, man, with these changes. It's just a huge question mark, but there's other guys after him to where I have to side with the defendant here, because it's like there's so many question marks with Tucker Kraft and his role. There's so many questions with Evan Ingram, his health. We talked about Travis Kelce, sending him back to the fantasy streets. It's like, who do I have after that? Do I take my chances on Loveland? Do I take my chances on Warren? These are rookies. Do I take my chances on Isaiah Likely still sharing with Mark Andrews, or do I take the chance with Mark Andrews? It's real nasty work after Sam LaPorta. So Sam LaPorta just seems like the cutoff where I'm like, I need to take a tight end right now. Sam LaPorta's right here. I'm going to make that move and not look back. I'm just going to deal with whatever I get that outcome will be from Sam LaPorta this season and call it a day. The gavel's down, man. We're saving LaPorta.
I'm just excited that we're getting several wins for the prosecution, several wins for the defense here. It means both guys are doing a good job, I think.
They are. They're doing a very well job, man. And shout out to you, bro. Like, before we go to this break, man, Okada is on Jim Carrey level of jumping in and out of personalities to be the defendant and prosecutor. Like, I'm so locked in listening, and both personalities are so